Hello there, I'm Nu-Trix, and today we're looking into the DrumBrute Impact from Arturia. It's a great analog drum machine. I've been looking for one for a long time now. I've been looking online for secondhand, and I got it for a very good price. I'm not going to tell you because you're going to hate me, but that was really good. This video is about 5 reasons why the DrumBrute Impact is a cool choice to pick today, and 5 reasons why it might not be for you. So 5 pros and 5 cons, but you'll see that the 5 pros equal mostly 15 pros, and the 5 cons are mostly 3 cons combined together. So let's dive in right away. Number 1, it's analog. The sound is analog. If you're looking for analog drum machine, this is a very good choice. Now you have 10 different sounds, which actually most of them outside of the cowbell, most of them have 2 versions of each sound because there's a color. So you've got you have 4 versions. You've got the soft and the hard, and sometimes it changes the sound. Like the snare could be louder, but also clearer in the high frequency when you press harder. So there's 2 volumes, and there's a colored version and the normal version. So the colored always have a little difference for each of the sounds. So the kick, snare 1, snare 2, tom high and tom low, cymbal, cowbell, hi-hat, open and close. It's actually the same hi-hat, but there's 2 controls for it. So you can control the 2 reactions of the same sound. And there's an FM drum percussion synth here. The distortion. Distortion itself is a really great thing to add at the end. If you use a little bit of it, you just add some presence. If you really push it to the limit, you just have a lot of texture and saturation and overdrive, but it's a warm distortion. Really cool to play with that and play with different length of decay from the kick and the snare, and you hear the 2 of them fighting for the space and the distortion on the main out. Second one, there's a really easy and intuitive and powerful sequencer in this. Now, you know, Arturia has been doing sequencer for a long time. They know how to make one very easy and fast to work with. It has up to 64 steps. And for each of the tracks, each of the instruments, you can control the length of it. You can do polyrhythms really easily to actually assign each of your tracks, each of your instrument to a different length if that's what you're looking for. One thing that is really cool is also the random. There's something that we don't see often. The random can be randomized on the whole kit, or it can be per track. And it creates really cool reaction where you can add a lot, randomness in the way, let's say, a snare plays. In my case, I find it useful to add a little bit of it, like 20% or 30%, and it creates movement in the sound. In song, you can chain your pattern together to create a chain of patterns. So you can create a song out of this. 3, it's actually made for performance. Everything here is really quick to play with, and it's easy to record new tracks, new stuff, delete it, in real time do some looping or some rolling. Really quick to do the work. So it's made to be performed live, and it's really well done for that. The device is solid. Everything is, solid. When you turn the knobs, they're holding their place. They're really working the way it should be. Number 4, connectivity and integration. At the back of this, you have 4 different individual outputs on top of the mix output. So the mix output has it's a mono output that has all the information of all the tracks playing at the same time in mono, but you can actually connect in kick and snares and hi-hat and the FM drum also. So all of these, when you connect at the back, you will subtract it from the main out. So if you connect all of them, you have 5 groups of sounds to play with in your mixer. You have a group just for the kick, a group just for the 2 snares together, a group for the hi-hat, and a group for the drum, the FM drum. And the rest of it, the cymbal, the cowbell, and the toms are together in the last, which is the main out. So pretty cool. It's enough for me, in my case, to be able to control what I need. You also have different ways to synchronize. You have MIDI in and out, 5-pin ins for sync or for MIDI control. You have the same thing with the USB. You have USB MIDI in there. And you have the clock in and out, which can be adapted to talk the standard of a different analog device. So it can talk 1 PPS, 2 PPQ, DIN 24, and DIN 48. So to adapt it to the other gear that you have. Now, to change these, there's no menu. You have to use the software. It's free. It comes from Arturia. You download it and you can connect it and change some of the internal parameter like that one. And number 5, the price. For the price, there's nothing like this at that price range with this amount of features. It's well built, it's solid, it sounds good. The sequencer is really powerful. You can chain them. You've got the effect. You get separate. It's just for that price, it's superb. And On top of that, you can find, like me, people that sell it used now. So secondhand, it's even a better deal. Because, I mean, they're well built. So unless they dropped it on floor, they're going to be lasting for a long time. So really good. I'm really happy for that. Now, the 5 reasons that it might not be for you, or the 5 cons about it. The first one would be, if you don't like the sound that are in there, you can't really change them. What I mean by that is the kick sounds like a kick. There's really 2 differences of it, the normal and the color. But you just have decay, pitch, and volume. So if you don't like the sound of that kick, well, tough luck. That's the one you have. You've got 2 snares. They have different sounds. But if you don't like these sounds, and they're combined into one out, so you cannot process just snare 1 alone and snare 2 alone. They're both going through the individual output as a sum of the 2. The toms, for a lot of people, they're not so great. They're just okay, you know. The cymbal and cowbell, they do the job. I like them. The hi-hat, again, if it's not the one you like, you might not be happy. In my case, I find it really efficient. I like the analog harshness of it. The drum, the FM drum, is what it is. So again, if you don't like it, there's no way to change it to become something else. But it's the fact that it's analog that limits to that. They did decide for you, each of these, to be specific to a sound, like a drum, a snare, a tom, a cowbell, a hi-hat. So it's limited in that sense. The other problem that you could have is the fact that because it's analog and there's no digital circuitry to know where the knobs are, you cannot record a patch. You cannot save the state of your sound. So you create the sound you like, you place it for that song, and then when you change song, it stays. Because WYSIWYG, what you see here is what you hear. There's no way to save it. So every time you say, oh, my kick's not right, you have to change the kick. The snare is not right, you have to change the snare. It's in real time, and there's no way to save it. And because there's no digital part in this, there's no way to send this by MIDI, so you could not record the performance of the knobs, and there's no way to send it back to control it in real time. So every time you want to record movement, it's going to be a live performance for you, and you record the audio output, and that's it. And it's going to be recorded and fixed. So for some, it might be a problem, but again, it goes back to the price. For that price, that's what you get. If you want to have more control, then you're going to pay something more, you know. And for some people, the fact that you have 5 outputs, but there are groups outside of the kick and the hi-hat, even the hi-hat, you've got the close and open into the same one. I know that some people would prefer to have the 2 snares separate, so you can have one with, delay, the other one with reverb. In this case, you cannot, and you cannot control the pan, and you cannot also assign, let's say, the cowbell to an output and use that as a trigger. So there's a limit to not having all of them with separate outputs, but again, it goes back to the price. So if these type of features would be the one that you're looking for, then look for the bigger one or look for another piece of gear, because this one will be frustrating for you. That's it. In my case, I find that it's a really good package. In 2025, on the market that we have today, there's not a lot that stands up to this type of unit for that price. So it is a very good piece. It's very musical, and with the output, the 5 outputs that you have, you can still do a lot of control and other things with that. So I'm really happy about that buy. Great little piece of analog drum machine. That's it. If you have any questions, put them below. Stay safe, make more music, and see you soon. Cheers.